get it if I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top.
Yo, no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love. I got a poker face, but honestly, I'm not one to bluff. I flip a switch, never miss, man, I always stay up. Don't let them see you, bitch, always have a plan to stay tough. This life ahead of you ain't easy, it was built to be rough. But that's what makes a personality is tragedy, bruh. So keep your head on your shoulders. Now we ain't out here moving rocks, we out here moving boulders. Now we ain't getting posterized, we out here making posters, and we ain't got nothing to hide.
What up? Welcome back in here to Pregaming on Sports Monday to Friday, 6 p.m. It's your boy, Pimp Slap P.O.D. Voice is coming back. We're ready to attack. We got a full card laid out tonight. The NHL, the NBA, college hoops. Lots of great games, lots of great action. Big couple of days. Let's see if we can keep it going. Appreciate everybody coming in here, rocking with us. You guys know the deal. It's a grind on the daily. We've found our groove right now as we get closer and closer to conference playoffs, the NHL playoffs, the NBA playoffs. Playoff. We talking playoffs? Yes, we are. Just a couple of days out from the conference playoffs. Excited for this college basketball card that we have tonight. Smaller card for me in college hoops, but we're going to open it up nonetheless. We've got Anaheim and the Buffalo Sabres. We got a big plus 340 play on that game. We've got Pittsburgh and the Philadelphia Flyers. We got the Edmonton Oilers and the Tampa Bay Lightning. Crazy little spot there. Probably not going to be a fan favorite. We got the Rangers and the Islanders. Straight fade opportunity of our guy, the Fade Man. We've got Detroit, the Red Wings playing against the Minnesota Wild. And that'll bring us through the NHL, at least the early slate for the NHL. We're going to roll into college hoops. We got a 3-pack out there. What's some exciting games tonight? We got Florida and Georgia. Shout out to Ramon. I caught what he did this morning. The Florida-Georgia line. Look, we got a little Baylor and Cincinnati action. Then we're going to roll out to Big 12 with some more Iowa State and Oak State plays. I just added a third play to the NBA slate. Cleveland and Orlando, the Spurs and the Pelicanos. And the third game that I added was in Milwaukee, Houston. Spurs game versus the Pelicans has a 42-0 spot tonight. Yeah, 42-0. 42-0. We'll see if it gets there. It looks like it's going to get there. And I'm excited to talk to you guys about it. And I added the Bucks and the Rockets game in there as well. So lots and lots of action. And there's our man blessing us right off the hop here, giving us a gifted sports money membership from my man Redbeard. Brother, appreciate you. Way to get in there and bless this action. I was already jacked up about the card. You know that gets me fired up, my guy. Let's go. I got to be careful. Get me all jacked up here and I can lose my voice for too much longer. That's not going to be good for anybody. Let's go, though. It's going to be a fun day here breaking this card down. We got a lot of plays to get to. So we got to get working. We got to get moving quickly. Where do you want to start? Let's start with yesterday. We had a 10-4 day. 10-4. VIPs. I talked to you guys about the silver and gold packages. More plays that we're putting out there, plays that we're actually invested in. I let you guys know early in the day yesterday in the show that there were going to be some late night plays that I wanted to smack and attack, and we did. Sent those out to the silver and gold members, and they were the under 233 in the Charlotte Hornets Sacramento Kings game. They were the under in the Kansas and Colorado games. I did like Kansas. The problem I had with Kansas is it was 6.5 early. I did get in on some 6.5, but it went to 7.5. So the game ends right at 7. Tight number, but where we attacked was the under 144.5. We got it at minus 105. They got 135 points. So we got under that thing by a 9-pack and a hook. The Sacramento Kings game, 233. That thing swelled to as high as 245. Final score in that one, 130-88. Cruised under by like 20 points. Let's see. What else? How about this? That Denver Nuggets first half and full gamers. No sweat bets out there. 64-58. We laid 2.5 in the first half. We went 125-116. We had -4.5 in the full game. We got both of those in there. The Sixers as a home favorite. I harped on it yesterday. It was 1-13. It's now 1-14. Easy cash. 142-110. Them Chicago Bulls didn't need Boos. Should have known when he was out, though, that total was going to soar over the number. 142-110. I mean, they lost by 32 points. We were getting 4.5. I think we missed an opportunity there because, and you know what's funny? It closed at 5.5 on top of everything else. I don't know what happened there. We were down. And the Nets screwed us. The Washington Wizards on a low number of just need to get 2.5. They ended up getting busted. They were tied, but they lost that game 107-99. Sela was leading the entire game and fell apart at the end of that second half. Did not cover the 6.5. That line went to 7.5. Here's where, we had 2.2% CLV. Doesn't matter, I lost. Northeastern and Monmouth. Shout out to my guy, Jerry Davis. We got that thing over 144.5. Mississippi Valley against Prairie View Valley. Prairie, whatever. Plus 17.5, -106. 8.4 points of CLV. That line closed at 15.5. They lost by 8. So, we were talking about the plus 1,300 sprinkle. It didn't get there. But it was easy cash at a nice low number at -106. The Sharks plus 1.5. The Sharks plus 1.5. So the only play in that game was to take the plus 1.5. Look, if you got cute in any way, shape, or form to take a Winnipeg Jets team, you lost. You lost. Unless you're a pig and you dropped a -450. You lost. Those two teams were profiled as 1-goal games. The end of that very end of that third period, Winnipeg scores. There goes anybody's regulation plays for Winnipeg. And if you laid the -1.5 to get the juice down, you lost there too. We won at a plus 150 on the San Jose Sharks. How about them Timberwolves? Story of the night. Them boys were down 25 points. 25 points. Them Timberwolves were down at one point in that game. They came back to win in overtime. That streak now moves to 18 in a row. We love some numbers. We love our trends. We love the immediate bounce back revenge opportunity. Remember, I said, I don't know who's playing. I don't care who's playing. It's catch 17 times in a row. Let's go for 18, and it did. It got us there, 131, 128 outright. Man, it was like plus 2,400 or plus 2,500 at one point live when they were getting housed. I turned it. I was embarrassed. They were down like 18 before it swelled to that 25, and I was like, this is ugly. This is ugly as it gets. Then they came back, and I saw that they were in overtime. I'm like, you're kidding me. Houston, hey, our second favorite, maybe it's our primary favorite spot. You're the home favorite, you lose. You go on the road, you're the favorite, you win. Houston covers against Texas Tech, 69-61. And then we took the big flyer shot on the Kings in the under 5.5 for a plus 273. Got greedy. Somebody had asked in the chat yesterday, do you think we lose the 5.5 because of the empty netter? No, the empty netter had nothing to do with that game. That was a 5-2 final. The Kings get the win. You could have gotten the Kings live at plus 265. So this is why you want to get the pen and paper out, boys and girls, because we start talking about these games. And then when you're looking back at them thinking, how do you hedge? How do you middle? How do you live bet? And you got to take a shot at that plus 250. I did. So we lost a plus 273 on the parlay, but the Kings live bet was plus 250. Still ended up plus money on that game, almost over a unit of profit in that, a unit and a half of profit. Despite having lost that play. So you gotta think about these things in the abstract. It's not just about the actual play that we're on, but where are you going to go and get paid when it comes time to hit that live bet? And that's exactly what we did yesterday. Shout out to my guy Joe Dub in the house. He's gifted a sports money membership as well. Yeah. Blessing the action, getting us rolling, Joe. Cheers to you, my friend. I was going to bust out the cocktail for the show. I should have. I had a feeling, you guys. I appreciate you, Joe, my friend. You guys are awesome, man. Selfishly coming in here, being prepared and ready to go, bringing best bets, gifting membership, helping us grow this community. And if you did get one of those gifted memberships, get on over there. Shoot on down to that little money sign. Give it a click. Upgrade yourselves to silver and gold level memberships out there. We're giving out more plays, more action, more content on the regular. And you guys believe in us. It's our way to give back to you. And thank you for being a part of what we're doing here. We're trying to grow on a regular. We're trying to bring on more shows in the works, more shows I think you guys will be really into with database picks and analytics and trends and more things to help cash more tickets across more sports lines with more experienced bettors. More here at Sports Money. And it's time. It's time to get to work before we start work. You guys know the deal. It's very important. It's like punching the clock. You punch it in here for this next 47 minutes of action, and you punch them by way of hitting that thumbs up button. Close the comments, hit the thumbs up, pop the comments back open. I'll share tonight's, we got 10, 11 plays. I'm going to give them to you guys. Let's go. Let's do it right now. All right. Pen and paper out. I told you, not just for the plays that I share, but maybe thinking about those for live bets. And more importantly, our chat. Sharpest damn chat in the universe comes here. They gather. They've been waiting on the card all day long. They're ready to cash those bets, and they're here to give them to you. So you're going to want to write these plays down. And, of course, put them in the chat so we can talk about the plays you guys are on. Joe T is going to kick us off with that Badgers first half -8. Wisconsin Badgers. For our guy Joe T. Jover, rocking and rolling with the Badgers first half -8. And there's our guy Gerald Jones coming in 12-8 with his best bets. He likes Mississippi State, Alabama over 170.5. I concur. I got a bad number. I get 172.5. I think earlier today. Sometimes they'll kind of pop out of, look, it's a big number for a reason. It's got to be a big number for a reason. What's Alabama's team total? Like 90.5? Yeah, I love that play. I think that's a really great look. Thank you for sharing, Gerald Jones. There's my guy, AOD's rocking. Appreciate all you guys, man. There's Jerry Davis rocking with us there. Right here. He's coming in. He's giving us Georgia +7. Look at this parlay. Caps, Leafs, Sabres, Stars. Caps, Leafs, Sabres, Stars. +500. Caps, Leafs, Sabres, Stars. All right. I get down with that, Redbeard. I will follow your action and root you along. Mr. Tomatoes is here. Nasty Nate's here. Might be some effery going on, and that player props are off the board for the Celtics game. Nasty Nate, I'm surprised that I didn't hear you say Celtics smash. I think they kicked the dog shit out of the Toronto Raptors. It's a bounce back spot. Good teams and bounce back opportunities, man. 11. I saw 10.5s and 11, so it was kind of flip flopping. Give me a little pause. Shout out to Barry's in the house. David Wallace. He says he went 9-4 yesterday. Let's go. Cash. Remember I told you guys there's a pretty well-known show out there. Gave their clients a 7-5 over the entire weekend. 7-5. I don't know, charged them $100. Went 7-5. They're celebrating. You live like a unit. You lost your client's money. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing what this industry tries to get away with, but we try to keep it transparent and 100% honest. Let's go. We got our guy, Smoke and Mirrors, Scotty Barnes, over 15 3-pointers. Whoa, over 1.5 3-pointers for Scotty B, +140. Terry Davis. Got Terry Davis pumped up with the intro. Jake Dies in the house. Let's go. Appreciate all you guys here. Robert McCormick's ready. Peter Gussie's in the house. He says, hit the like button. Please do just that. Jerry says, bounce back immediate revenge, man. Sometimes we got the team trend. Sometimes we got the player trend. Sometimes we just got the league trend. And it just happens. It just happens. It wasn't even a backdoor cover. They ended up just getting slapped. Redbeard hit it live at +400. Bulls smoked the cap in almost perfect science. Yeah. Nothing showed us what that should. No reason them Sixers should have been home favorites. Shout out to Big Scott says, drop Bill and Mary. Yep. How about this? I'm glad you. I'm not. Look, I lost it too. I'm not trying to celebrate in this defeat, but how about this? Let me see if I still have it. This is relevant. This isn't, I say it's relevant. You guys will have to be the judge of this thing, but I believe I can fly. I know I can't fly. I'm not a flyer. I'm not an idiot. Come on. I'm not be the smartest guy in the house, but I know I can't fucking fly. What are we doing here? I believe it's 17 in a row. 17 in a row. North Carolina puts up on them boys when it totals over one. I think it was 141. I'll look it up. I'll find it. I'll put it back out in the community post for everybody to see. I think that's, well, look, we got to keep our eyes on it, man. If they're going to go out there and do just that with those numbers, then we got to recognize it and make sure that we find and tail that action. I can't find the trend right now. But, yeah, there was a 17-0 that we missed out on, huh? But look at everybody's got Kings money line and -1.5 plus 220. Good little profit for the day. -0.5 first period for Tampa Bay at +135 for our guy, Big Scott. There's old E. He's ready to roll with us. Bo Jackson, he's ready to roll. He says, on my way to the Raptors game. The Raps can cover +10.5. There's our resident Toronto Raptors whisperer. There we go. Remote Scott is nearly 10,000 games in college basketball this season, and Mikey didn't hesitate to go to the lowest rated matchup on Ken Palm of the season with Mississippi Valley Prairie View for a winner. Just proof source that, yeah, the books are going to be sharpened like a, what we talk about with that Kansas Colorado game, right? 6.5 early cash, 7.5. If you got the Colorado side, you cash. Yeah, just go to Mississippi Valley State. They also cashed the under. I had a small little play on that under as well. David Wallace, he had no idea who they were, but he played it. Well, that shows a lot of trust. I appreciate that. Nicholas Handy's here. Team Steam was fired up this morning. Had to give Thomas a little chin music out there. Thomas gave me some chin music last week, so I was just returning the favor. Listen, I forgive, but I never forget. It's important that everybody remembers that. I'll forgive you, but I'll never forget. No, I'm just kidding. I love Thomas Lewis, man. Stop Geo Engineer says like button smashed. Let's go. Big Scott on them Canadiens +1.5. The Blue Jackets +1.5 for a 2-legger at +195. Irish Kings here. Barry's here. Barry's rolling. Baylor on the money line. Let's go. Stop Geo's got another 2-leg parlay. Memphis Grizzlies, Carolina Hurricanes. I rather like that at -1.5. Yeah, there's Nick in the house. It's lay the -8,000 with Duke. Shout out Peter Gracia says Celtics big time agree. Dana Delp, Nasty Nate. There we go. We got our team total experts coming in here. We got our resident team whisperers coming in here. KP over in his threes, Pritchard over in his threes, and Parlay. And Mario, he gifted a sports money membership. Let's go, baby. Shout out to you, Mario. Cheers, my friend. Man, you guys are ready to roll. I love seeing it. Mario, thank you so much, my friend. I know you've been in here with us a long time, grinding and sharing your best bets. We appreciate you helping us build this community. Hey, you got somebody halfway to their way of getting extra place, VIP place. Let's go. We appreciate it, man. Appreciate you, Mario. Gonzo's got some NHL action. Gonzo's ready to attack. I hope you had a great birthday yesterday. Lots of fun, man. Lots of fun. Got Carolina puck line, Buffalo, Anaheim over. I was gonna say you're catching up to me, but I'm catching up to you. That was my pause. Dallas and Columbus over 6. The Islanders and the Red Wings. Boats. It's time to move away from Ken Palm and start following System. I might have to coin that, dude. I might have to coin that. The money's all green. It don't matter where it comes from, right? We got a big show, though. We got a lot of plays to get to, so let's get going, you guys. Quite a bit in the world of the NHL tonight, so we'll try to keep it simple. Just try to keep it moving. Appreciate all you guys that did share your best bets. That means a ton. You know, it helps me. Helps me to make sure that my live plays are in line. That's kind of where I look at this stuff, right? I've got my plays in there. I got my plays locked and loaded. Now I get greedy, man. Especially after, man. We go 6-2 on Sunday. Was it 5-2 on Friday? And then 10-4 yesterday. I mean, I mentioned Saturday. Took a big old cash out on Saturday. Not to brag, just to feel confident. comfortable with what we're doing here and how we're growing. The Penguins and the Flyers probably shouldn't feel too confident on one side or the other. Sid the kid, Sid the middle-aged man, and Evgeny Malkin rolling out there. And then, of course, we see, hey, Chris Letang. I mentioned this a couple weeks ago. Guy comes back. Now, the Penguins are struggling. There's no doubt about it. And this line's actually moving towards the Penguins. But, hey, listen. You don't need me to tell you to play the Flyers. I will. I'll tell you all about it. Nedeljkovic starts this game 12-10-5, 3.06 goals against average, 89.5% save percentage. Bag of shit stats. Nedeljkovic. They've lost 3 straight games. We got a big fade opportunity as well. It's a shit team with lack of rest. We'll talk about it in just a second. The flip side, he's bad. He's bad across the board. 8-3 loss to the Washington Capitals. Followed it up by getting their shit kicked again the following day. Look, they're in a revenge spot against the Flyers, but man, Johnny T. I'm John Tortorella, man. I don't know if you guys caught what his little post-hockey, post-Four Nations tournament feedback was. He said, loved the tournament, didn't like the outcome. Loved the coaches, didn't like the outcome of that last game. And they asked him if he was going to fly back on the plane, and he's like, nah. There's a lot of Canadian players on that plane. He took a car. He jumped in, he got a car, and he drove back to Philadelphia. Said, screw it. I'm not going to go watch these guys celebrate. Maybe one of the guys that was the understated player in that tournament, Sammy Ersson. 17-10-3, 2.81 goals against average, 89.5% save percentage. Serviceable. The difference between bag of shit and Nedeljkovic with that 3.06 goals. You're north of 3 goals against average, bro. On the other side of things, Sammy Ersson, south of 3.0 goals against average. That's the difference between BOS and serviceable. Overall, between these two teams, look, the Flyers caught them Oilers, probably sleeping a little bit, busted them up. It was a 6-3 W. Not a game to be on the under. I was on the under. I was on the Flyers in that game, but I was on the under as well. But look, Sammy Ersson, he's on the buy sign right now. So 2.81 and 89.5% save percentage. He's got a 2.32 goals against average, a 91.6% save percentage in his last 15 games. First 15 games of the season, puke. Second 15 games of the season, the Flyers have picked up a 10-4-1 record against this guy. And they're going to be battling some rematch. This is always it's tricky. These two teams fight hard. They battle each other hard. It means a lot, the Battle of Pennsylvania that goes behind them. But I told you guys the trend that we're going to look to ride with this thing really has just a gassed out team situation to deal with here. And they're old, right? So you got a bad opponent. They got a sub 500 record, and they're tired. They played their third game in 4 nights. You fade those teams. It also is a factor tonight for the Blues and the Utah Hockey Club. So if you're interested and you're buying into this philosophy, the overall record in that spot, by the way, 219 wins, 80 losses, 80. It's a 73% win percentage, and it continues to clean up and dominate. Makes sense. Just can't stop the puck from getting by because you're tired. Goalie's tired, you're tired, everyone's old. They're struggling. Then, this is where it's important when we look at this goals against average. When your goaltender's got north of 3 goals against average and you're the home rested favorite squad, you beat them up 134-41 out there. It's 8-2 in its last 10. The previous one there, the busted up opponent that's tired, you fade them boys, you're 9-1 in your last 10 as well. So all roads point to Philadelphia. And of course, look, can't have to take the opportunity to mention, it's my Project Fade Alert. It's Project Fade Alert. That's the name that I have given it. And again, this line's starting to move. It's starting to climb. It's kind of yo-yoing back. So we're going to start this card off. We're going to take the Philadelphia Flyers, just a money line. I got him at -118. Yeah. Pinnacle's holding the -115. You believe in Pinnacle being one of them sharper books. Could be a little bit of a red flag out there, but they also have the better number on Pittsburgh as well. So they're holding a +104 on Pittsburgh. Pretty much everybody else has got him at even money right now. So we're starting to see this -120. If you can beat that -120, go get it. Doesn't matter. It's slow juice anyways. Good opportunity for us to pop this card off. And then beyond that, let's talk about this. John Tortorella. He's fired up. He's rejuvenated from the hockey world. He had that Four Nations disappointment. The big thing, new players. Trying to fit these guys in the lineup. And Mishkov, what did Mishkov say? I mean, it was Russian, so they had to translate it. But what he came in and said specifically was, he's fired up. There's new talent around. And that's exactly what Tortorella said. He's got to find a way to get Kuzmentsov in the lineup. He's got a lot of things going, a lot of moving parts now. They've got some firepower, some young firepower for this Philadelphia Flyers team. And that's excitement galore. Let's go. Redbeard says, where's Trisha tonight? Scared of them dogs. Trisha put me on a play on. We'll talk about it. Cena in the house. What's up? Says Flames, money line, or puck line. It's hard to fade the Caps, man. It really is. It's crazy. Crazy. Ramon says Van Fleet. FVV is out tonight versus Milwaukee. Algonquin for the good land. Stop Gio with a bustle of plays for us. Got us over 11.5 rebounds at minus 110. He's cashed this in 10 of his last 10. Okay, now you're talking my language. 6 of his last 6 head-to-head versus Houston. No Bobby P. All right. See, this is first time on the show. Hey, Ramon. Well, we appreciate you being here. Hopefully the balance of Ramon and the morning steam and the loud and craziness of pre-gaming finds you somewhere in the middle. Side note coming in. Hey, if any of you ever feel silly about the wager place, just remember that Kim Kardashian once played poker with mirrored sunglasses. You're welcome. Well, now we know. Jerry Davis says, did you call a 4-team NHL or did I dream? I cashed a 4-teamer last night. I'm not sure if I said it out loud. I'd love to take credit for it, but maybe I did. Sometimes it's not the plays that are given out. It's reading between the lines. Peter says, I love the Philly allegiance. It's just more of a buy on. I mean, these boys are buy on right now. That's it. We'll get moving. We got a lot of plays to get to. Buying in on the Philadelphia Flyers. Edmonton Oilers, Tampa Bay Lightning. Here's the game that I don't know if you guys are going to like what I share in here. The Calgary Flames will start Dan Vladar, and the Washington Capitals will start Logan Thompson. So I was originally looking at that Calgary Flames team total under. Makes me nervous because Vladar, 3.22 goals against average with an 88.8% save percentage. However, did come off a pretty big win. It was the Seattle Kraken. So Capitals are scoring like crazy too, man. I mean, 15-6 their last 2 games. Busted up them Penguins 8-3 that one game. And that's just if you watch the way they're scoring, that's a confident offensive team. So if you haven't really played hockey or you haven't watched hockey for very long, when these dudes are sniping blasts, they're passing around the slot, right? The slot's where the slot's right in front of the goalie. And that's where the defense kind of congest. And, there's a lot of traffic, and so they try to push them out and get it clear. The Capitals are zinging and zanging around that slot. And what they're doing is they're not taking the slot, the high probability shot. They're moving to the outside of those circles, the face-off circles, up against the boards, and they're sniping one-timers from basically the opposite side. They're going opposite corner. That's a confident shooting team right now. You don't do that if you're trying to just get goals in net, and you can see the results by those guys in the 15-6 or so. It makes me a little nervous, but I would never talk anybody off a dog, especially in that beefy scenario. Okay. What do we got? We got Tampa Bay and the Edmonton Oilers. Stewart Skinner. Andrei Vasilevsky. Skinner comes in at 2013 and 4, 2.81 goals against average, and an 89.8% save percentage. They are skidding, are them Oilers. Probably a little bit of a hangover from celebrating the Team Canada victory for one Connor McDavid. Skinner, look, 8 goals in his last game. They gave him the game off after that, I guess. If there's any consolation, he played so badly, so poorly, that they put him out there and put him on ice. And the Tampa Bay Lightning are riding a 5-game winning streak. So at first you got to look at this line and go, what the hell's going on? Why is this line priced the way it is when you got, red hot meeting ice cold? And definitely a little suspect, I would say. This Oilers line, they open up as minus 125 favorites. It has moved to plus 102, but it's essentially plus 102 for the Oilers, minus 103 for the Lightning. Vasilevsky was the first goalie off the ice, so it's not confirmed as of yet. But, we've talked about Vasilevsky. He started his season. He had a slow start. He got injured, took some time off. He's rallied back, though, 25, 15, and 3 with a 2.27 goals against average and a 92% save percentage. The unpopular play here, I'm going to look for Stuart Skinner to bounce back and Vasilevsky to continue to remain strong. The challenge I have is that the Tampa Bay Lightning own Western Conference teams when they're at home. It's not too hard-fetched to figure that out, though. Think about the geography. It's a long plane ride to get from the Pacific Northwest all the way down to South Florida, even though they're on the Gulf Coast. We'll leave it at that. When they play at home against the West, they're 33-9. Thing about this one here is the flip side of this one talks about the under. When you're the favorite, which was how the Edmonton Oilers game opened up, and you got busted up by 4 or more goals in that favorite role, they rally back and play defense. It's a 231 to 139 trend to the under. Significant under trend. You got Skinner coming in after getting embarrassed. You got Vasilevsky facing, just playing well. Team's playing well in front of him. A lot of good guys out there. Braden Point, probably a disappointment when it came to the Four Nations tournament, but at least from my vantage point, not what I expected out of him. But nonetheless, I'm going to go with the under 6.5, and they're giving you a nice price tag for it as well. I mean, we're talking about a plus 110 to take this under 6.5. Scares me a little bit. There's so much. I mean, we got a 400 game sample that shows when you get busted up, you focus back on playing defense. Makes a lot of sense. You can't go out there and get busted up again. Pretty straightforward, right? Pretty straightforward. Tina says, no offense. Sold a lot of and took a lot of chances in life, but I'm going with the Flames risky, but I've had bad beats and wins being risky. Yeah, man, listen. I can't disagree. And so maybe, we appreciate that. Listen, we took the shot last night with the San Jose Sharks. I mean, everybody loved the Winnipeg chat. I don't think this chat did. I say everybody, but I don't think this chat did. You're right, man. You got to be, listen, I would never talk anybody off a juicy dog. Never. If I have some opinion on the other side and you're that convicted behind it, I probably might not say anything. But I'm going to talk about the rain, so I can appreciate it. All due respect. Yeah, man, listen. You don't have to win a lot of dogs in the NHL to be profitable. You got to win a whole bunch of those -4. Think about it. If you lost that, let's say you took the regulation spot last night for Winnipeg. I don't even know what the number was. It's not an option for me. It was probably -300. You got to win. You got to win 4 games now, essentially, to be profitable. So you can either do that with taking big favorites or favorites in general, or find 1 or 2 dogs. And hey, man, listen, go get it. That makes sense to me. I get it. I can get down with that. I get down with the Boston Bruins tonight. But, yep, it's called gambling for a reason. It sure is. And these are my plays. These are just my plays. My card. Share my card with you guys. But we love to see everybody here. Everyone's got an opinion, and that's what makes this so much fun. And then when we DM each other afterwards and say, you were right, or no, you were right, it's all fun. It's all good. We just want to keep the bankrolls growing. Igor Shesterkin coming in the Rangers goal at 19-20 and 2.98, 90.3% save percentage. We know the deal with Shesterkin. Signed that big contract. He bet on himself. Then he had some head case issues. Signs that contract. And, look, he got busted up by the Sabres. The worst part for me in that game was the Rangers owned the Sabres in Buffalo. They won like 14 of their last 16 in Buffalo. So to watch that game go down and it was an 8-2 finish was like, what the hell did I just watch in this game? But bounce back, 36 of 39 saves. They beat up them tired Penguins that we just talked about. So I don't know what you're going to get out of Shesterkin. That is the ultimate wild card for me. But the Rangers came in as a home favorite. As a road favorite. And this is where it's suspect because the Islanders, a lot of talk about the Islanders pushing for the playoffs. So are the Rangers. I mean, these two teams, did I upgrade the graphic? Yeah, I got it there. Look, there's not a lot that separates these two teams. Tell me this. Why are the Islanders pushing for the playoffs, but the Rangers aren't? Rangers have the better record. Rangers went through their misery. They got rid of Trouba. They had some issues in the locker room. They brought some new pieces in. They're trying to figure it out. Shout out to Subhuman Gaucho. Gave you some EPL action. You can find that over on the Sports Money YouTube page. And at this point here, when it comes down to it, I think Sorokin kind of peaked early. I'll say it. He had a hell of a run. He went 8-1 over 9 games for a 1.38 goals against average and a 95.2% save percentage. High. Then he goes on a 3-game losing streak, and he's ballooned to some of the worst numbers in the NHL right now. 4.45 goals against average and an 85.2% save percentage. Peaked. Valleyed. Rangers trying to find their rhythm. No one says they're out of the playoffs just yet. I'm telling you, this is my call. The Rangers will battle the Flyers to figure out who's going to be the wild card team to make the playoffs. It happens all the time. All the time with these two teams. And look, want to talk about a big, hefty, juicy hockey trend. It's just a road conference favorites. When you're in the conference and you're the road favorite, it's for a reason. You win 751 to 466 times. Not quite 2-1, but in a big sample like that, if you're just looking for some type of a tipping point, something to get you to that 56% edge, right? Like we want to be hitting at 60, 65%, but when you're looking at essentially some coin flippy spots, you need something to push you over the edge. And that's something to me is that monster trend. And then on top of that, when you do have teams pushing for the playoffs, last game, they both went over. And you find the early window start for whatever reason, that 7 p.m. start becomes a factor. Those favorites are 40-22. 40-22. It's a little bit of a steeper edge now. So we went from that 55, 56% to blowing this thing up to just around 60% or so. Don't challenge my math. I don't have the calculator out. But you get what I'm saying. The idea behind this simply is we're trying to find those little bit of edges where we can, and those edges exist in that spot, in my opinion. Let's go on to the last hockey game for the card. And we've got the Red Wings. The Red Wings going out there with Cam Talbot playing the Minnesota Wild. Philip Gustafsson. Pretty comparably situated between these two goalies. Cam Talbot, 16-11-3, so win-loss record, 5 games over 500. Philip, 21-11-3, 10 games over 500. Bigger sample. Better goals against average, 288 versus 267. A little bit better save percentage, 91.4 to 90.5. But look, Red Wings are finding the back of the net. You win games by scoring goals. 5-4 win against the Anaheim Ducks. We heard Ramon tell us one of the most profitable teams in the NHL on the road are the Anaheim Ducks, and the Red Wings got on top of it. Not his best performance. But he is in a bounce back spot. He did lose 4-3 to the Minnesota Wild, and we're bouncing back. 89.7% save percentage. He's a 90.5% save percentage guy. Gustafsson. Look, the All-Star break was I think a little bit happy for him. That being said, he'll have his first game back on the ice. You just don't know what you're going to get out of this guy. I talked about this peaking with Sorokin before. This guy came out with a 92.6% save percentage over 27 games. The team was 18-6-3. This is why I referenced the fact that bigger sample, 10-game winning streak, or 10 games ahead. In his last 9 games, 4-5 with an 88.9% win percentage. Save percentage, excuse me. I'm not a believer in the Red Wings. I'll take the sign where we get our guy here in Subhuman Gaucho. I know he's a Red Wings fan, but I'm just going to take the Red Wings. A lot of challenge for me on this one here. It's also a fade, Project Fade. Project Fade is invested on this one as well on the Minnesota Wild side of things. So it's been profitable for me. I mean, we went like 10-2 right before the All-Star break with this Project Fade. I think this Red Wings team is, are they going to make the playoffs? If you asked me that and I had to make a bet on it, I'd say no. But look at this trend, man. This money, minus 154 down to minus 115 for the Minnesota Wild, plus 128 to plus 104 now for the Red Wings. So you can still catch them at a nice plus money price tag. But I think you got this bounce back spot, 4-3 overtime game. Red Wings are playing overtime games. Draw's probably not out of the realm of this thing. And like I said, I just look for the spot to sell on goalies that I think overperformed early. That is Gustafsson for me. I'm going to jump in. I'm going to take the Detroit Red Wings. Don't like it. I don't like the team. Sorry, my guy Sub knows my position on the Red Wings, but I like them enough tonight that I'll get invested with these guys. So look, some plus, but try to mix it up a little bit. I got even money on those Red Wings. That will be an 8 p.m. start. We got the plus 110 money on the under in the Tampa game. We got minus 115 for the Rangers and minus 118 for the Flyers. Onward, upward, we got college hoops to cap here. Talk about some of these plays that I got invested in here. And we change things up a little bit here. Don't spend a lot of time looking at the cash flow splits when it comes to, sometimes we want to see that line's moving against the Minnesota Wild. But I look for any of those angles, any of those trends, any of those opportunities to find a little bit of a winning scenario here. And I'm going to go Baylor-Cincinnati here. We're looking at the bets, the cash, and how the books are reacting to it. 87% of the bets, so the public hammering away on Baylor. We know they love their public road dogs. 83% of the cash, though, does show about a 4% edge to Cincinnati. The Bearcats. Total's dropping. This is the big one. It's 53% of the bets and 53% of the cash on the over. It's gone from 140.5 all the way down to 136.5 now. I mean, that's a 4-point ginormous swing as we're looking at this thing. And look, Cincinnati's an under team. They play tough ball. And the biggest thing for me with this one, Baylor stinks on the road. They are absolutely brutal on the road. They don't play defense as part of the reason why they stink. I mean, they're 7-5 to the over on the road. They don't really play defense at home. They're just not the same Baylor team that everybody loves. And this is why I think this line has got some reverse movement to it. The public that comes in this time of year, they're like, oh, March Madness is coming up. I got a couple dollars in the bank account. Let me go slap it around on Baylor, and I'll take that plus 2 points. Well, and no disrespect to our guys that are on Baylor in this chat, just my assessment of how this thing breaks down. They're 1-11 against the spread on the road. They're terrible. Terrible road team out there. And look, they just played at Colorado, so they got the elevation factor. Are those legs tired? Do they get jelly? I don't know. They did beat West Virginia. I think that was the feather in the cap. They struggled at Houston. They struggled in Arizona, or they struggled at home against Arizona, and they struggled at Colorado. Flip side of things. What did Cincinnati do? They had back-to-back shit road games. Just call it what it is. Iowa State's a tough team in the Big 12. They lose 81-70. I'm sorry. They did cover. In fact, they've been ripping off covers like crazy. On the flip side of things, they go back to West Virginia, another tough place to play at Morgantown. 3.5 points. They get them by the hook. If you remember that game, this is why we bet on them the following game, because of how they finished that game. What was it? Was it a 12-point run? At the end of that game, with a minute and a half to go in the game, they get a 3. The other team, West Virginia inbounds the ball. Cincinnati stops it again, shoots another 3. Next thing you know, you're covering by the back door on the 3.5. Now, we gave out 2.5 on the show because we got it too late. But the 3.5 cash for anybody that wasn't early better. Then we look at this last game, and what happens? It's TCU, and they just busted the doors off at TCU. They beat them by 12 points back at home. So back-to-back road games that they struggled, started moving in some positive momentum at the end of that West Virginia game, and then took the boots right to the ass of TCU. Those are teams that we look to bet on. We want to be invested in. It's a difficult place to play. We know these are under cities. And look, Baylor, I mentioned how bad they are on the road. They are a perfect 6-0-2 if you fade them in their last 8 games on the road. To me, the situation was here. You got a bad team in Baylor, not playing well on the road. Big 12s, they love their unders when you have small spreads and high totals. They just find a way not to get there. And the favorites are winning in those spots, 57-36. So a bad Baylor team in a spot where the scoring is going to be low and we see that the favorite prevails, to me is a Cincinnati spot every day of the week. I got this thing. Now, I lost some CLV on this one. I got it at minus 134. So there has been some late action coming in on this money line for Baylor. Again, it's a little coin flipping. I know we've talked a little bit about kind of, road teams or taking the +2s when they're between that kind of 2-point ping pong situation. I'm just going to fade Baylor on the road. I mean, I don't want to make it oversimplified like that, but let's go. There's Dixon. Thanks. Appreciate you. Jerry Davis, Cincinnati, and under 4. Me. Okay. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it rolling. This is the big battle right here. It's the Trisha M special. Trisha M. Is Trisha M in the chat? Trisha M. Paging Trisha M. Paging Trisha M. Paging Trisha M. This is going to be a fun game to watch, mostly because I know, look, she loves her cats. Or I'm sorry, she loves her Gators. She loves her Florida cats, too. There she is. There she is. Now I'm stalking. I call you out. Look, this is a play on Georgia spot. Hopefully it's the right spot here, but this line went from 7.5 down to 6.5, and 96% of the bets and 96% of the cash are on Florida. Where do you never want to be? In a position where 96% of the bets and 96% of the cash are on one side. And worse than that, the books have made it even more favorable. 32,000 ticket count. They're saying, hey, if you like Florida minus 7.5, we'll give it to you at 6.5. Why not take a little bit more action? That should be a red flag. And the big deal for this game here is if Georgia has any hope at all for being invested in the postseason, they're going to have to pick up this W. This is going to be the statement win. You see there in the ACC, in the conference here, Florida comes in number 3 at 11-3 in the conference on the season. Georgia's an abysmal 4-10. Okay, so let's take a look. Georgia. What has Georgia done lately? Georgia's won some national championships. Granted, it's football. I understand it's football. Let me tell you how these boosters work behind the scenes. Hey, coach. Hey, I know it's not quite the year you want, but hey, let's finish strong. We believe in you. Now the coach is going, shit, I just became a hot seat candidate. He's got to put it all on the line for this opportunity out there. And, look, it's a lot of points for these guys to cover. Can Florida go out there and bash them? Sure. There's no question about it. But coach got anything left in his playbook, he's using it. And here's the thing when it comes to the SEC. Don't make the home team a dog. They're 131 and 101. I know it's not a huge margin, but you got reverse line movement, the home team, and the coach on the hot seat. That's enough for me to say if this Georgia team don't win this game, yeah, there's going to be a whole scenery change in Georgia. Them dogs are going to bark and bite them Gators tonight. I think it's a good opportunity. Home dog with all those points. I don't know that they win it outright. Probably not. It's either going to be a last bucket type of game or they get busted up by over 20 points. And I'm going to use the motivation with the hot seat. I think this is where anything that they've been holding back, any reason not to try to look, you got to match fire with fire. Go out there. The under sounds like a decent look at first pass. We're 50-50 as far as the numbers are concerned. 49% of the bets and 50% of the cash on the over. Really moving. Move down a point, maybe 148.5, depending on the books that you're looking at out there. So little tell to that thing, but the reverse line movement's the big factor for me here. Georgia needs this game. Daddy beats. I'm not against that either. Why don't you parlay Georgia's money line with that one too? Look, 96% of the bets and 97% of the cash are using the Florida Gators as a parlay piece. It went from minus 290 down to minus 260. So, overall, all in. The last piece here, this is the trump card. This is why I was paging Trisha M. Big guy's back. And what do we do when the star player comes back? We fade that team, and we think really highly of that fade opportunity. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. You know what we're doing? If we're 11-3 in the SEC and we're getting ready for the SEC champion conference games, and then we're trying to move on to the well, there's no question they're going to move on to the tournament at this point. So what do? Well, you start managing minutes, not managing the game. And that's where teams get in trouble. So I'm going to lock it down. I got some Georgia. Let's see. Georgia. I got 6.5 at -108. So I hope this isn't one of those spots where it's between 7.5 and 6.5, and I end up on the wrong side because I don't have enough points here. But we roll the dice. It's called gambling. Presidential Minded King says, bro, every show I've watched pick Georgia. It's the hot seat spot. And you got the star player coming back. And you got the home dog advantage. Makes me a little nervous. Okay. We'll see. Best of luck to everybody. As Trisha M said, it's all fun. We're all, you know what, we're all going to be, it's always fun to see who our friends' rooting interests are and then take the other side. No, that's not true. That's not true. All right. Last game in college hoops. Iowa State, Oklahoma State, the battle. The Big 12 battle is what it is, right? Let's go. Where'd this game pop off? Let me see. Iowa State opened at 10.5. It has not moved, and you've got bigger money coming in on this Iowa State team, probably because Oklahoma State's bad. 5-11 in conference. The first number is their season record. The second number is their conference number out there. They're just not good in the Big 12. Iowa State's gone from -10.5 to nowhere and 13% of the bets. So that means 87% of the cash are on the public, on the dog. Public dog. Public dog alert. We need a public dog button. Maybe it's somebody barking or something. And it's not me, like that one live stream. Remember how pissed that one dude got? Bruins man barking on stream because he's all drunk. 55% of the cash, though, creating one of the biggest differentials of the day, is coming in on this Iowa State side of things. Now, the trouble for me is the line hasn't moved. Probably a favorite spot. Line's not moving. We have 84% of the bets and 84% of the cash on this under. It's gone from 149.5 to 148.5. That's a little bit of something I can get my hands in. I don't want to be inside a reverse movement or a no movement situation. I don't want to be involved with a public dog here. Now, against the spread, Oak State at home, they're 6-9. Iowa State's 6-4. You're a braver person than I. If you're trying to, I mean, I don't mind laying at 10.5. I don't like laying the points like that on the road, though. To me, I got to look for somewhere else to play this. And the answer for me is to take a look at this total collectively between these two teams. Look, Oak State has been running the over pattern. Why? Because they stink. They got one game. They beat UCF 104-95. They did beat Arizona State 86-73. They scored 72 at TCU. They get 55 against Texas Tech. 64 against Kansas. I mean, they're just not, they're an inconsistent squad, but they've had some big numbers. 143s, 147s, 150s, 158s. And Iowa State predominantly runs to the under. The class of the conference, maybe 3 of their last 5 games have gone through this under spot. 52-34 to the under for Iowa State in their last 90 games almost. But this is a perfectly fit situation, in my opinion. When it comes to this conference, we've got a line over 8 or more, I should say. And the total's 141 or more. The under prevails. The big favorite kicks the shit out of the dog and holds him off the board. 51-32 to the under in those spots. Iowa State under for me. Number I locked in I'm not sure, 149.5 at -108. Big number. I'm going to roll the dice that Oak State's not going to go out there and put up a 105-pack. I'm going to speculate that Iowa State gets tired of slapping these boys around. They put their second stringers in the second half. Probably the back door becomes open for Oak State. But once Iowa State gets the ball, they're going to play some tempo. They're going to slow them down. They're going to draw them out, grind them down. Shut down shop. 149.5 for the under for us. Keep her moving. Thoughts on the Zags game? Terry Davis likes Oak State because, yeah, I mean, can't get invested in that. You know, that's a lot of meat on the bone, so to speak. A lot of meat for them to bite. The Zags game. I'll tell you, there's a bunch of these later night games that I like, and I was going to send some plays around. I mean, you're starting to see a little bit of movement to Santa Clara. I just don't trust the Zags to cover numbers, and I don't trust them to cover a 6 on the road. That's the problem that I have. You know, when we're looking at a road team, and I mean, if they're laying 6, they got to probably win by 10, right? You think they're going to go in there and be a double-digit winner on the road? Santa Clara is 10-8 at home. The Zags they're 11-18 against the spread, so it's a tricky spot for me. It's if I was going to play the Zags, I'd use them as a parlay piece. I'd parlay them up on the money line or adjust the line down. I mean, Santa Clara is putting up points, 93 against San Diego, 97 against Portland. Granted, those are some of the weaker teams in the conference, but 77 against Loyola, 109 at Washington State. And they just don't know what you're going to get. I mean, I guess you're buying low on the Zags because they were laying 6.5 against St. Mary's and they lost outright. So does that mean this line should have been 10? Everything to me comes back to this has got to be a 10-pointer. And I just don't see that happening. Dusty Stromer is probable for Gonzaga. So the guard would be a big deal, but he's sick. And there's that sickness running through the locker room that I try to stay away from if I can. Rick Jay says they may blow him out. They may. If I'm going to get involved late night, that one won't make the card. Bear with me for one. Oh, no, I'm good. Okay, let's go to the NBA. We got 3 games. 3 games, 3 trends, 3 spots. Let's get some cash and get paid. You know what I realized? For the Anaheim-Buffalo game, I think I skipped right over that one. I'm on the over 6 and Tage Thompson over 3.5 shots on goal. It's kind of a big deal because that's a plus 340. Sorry, I missed that. I don't know what made me realize I missed that here. I'm looking at the schedule and the spots here. This game's going to pop off in just a couple of minutes. You can follow my action you won't be able to see some of it because try to keep it skirt on it until game time here. But I want Tage Thompson. There's some injury issues floating around this Sabres locker room. Some of that lineup was uncertain as we were getting closer to game time. The Ducks will have the second most shots on goal on the road in the NHL at 33.9. Tage Thompson is the guy that leads the Sabres, 98 total shots on goal at home this season. He's averaging 4. He's getting 4 at plus money. You can catch him at plus 130. And then I slapped the over 6 in there because I did expect goals. I think Anaheim can score on Buffalo. I think Buffalo can score on Anaheim. I don't care who wins, but I went the over 6, and I parlayed it with Tage Thompson over 3.5 shots on goal. Okay, Cleveland, Orlando. Orlando's home. I like Orlando at home. I don't like Orlando on the road. I like Orlando at home, although this has got 73% of the bets and 72% of the cash on the Cavaliers, and the line has gone from 5.5 to 7. Pressure coming in on the Cavs. Books are answering the bell. The totals dropped from 225.5 down to 218.5 with 80% of the bets and 73% of the cash on the over. It's going down, down, down. This one is getting pretty damn close to rock bottoming out. I wouldn't be surprised to see Orlando win this game. When I talk about why I like them at home versus the road, I mean, a lot of it has to come down to just their performance, right? They're a good covered team. Well, I'll put my words in my mouth here, but 18-11 against the spread at home. 11-19 against the spread on the road. But they stink when they're in the dog roll. They're 9-15. Where do they play defensive ball? At home. They're 10-19 to the under when they're at home. We just saw the Magic. They busted up the Wizards. 110-90, 20-point victory. They had back-to-back home games. They've been home 4 of their last 5 games. That's before All-Star break and into All-Star break. So they got some home cooking rolling for these boys right now. Problem is the Cavs just keep winning. Just keep putting up W's on the board. They just hammered Memphis, 129-123. They busted up the Knicks, 142-105. Those were both home games, though. So their schedule coming out of the All-Star break was a road game against Brooklyn. They kicked the shit out of them, 110-97. Then they go back home for a 2-pack. A day's rest in between, and they're floating on down to Orlando. I don't know if they're going to go to the Magic Kingdom while they're down there, but I think it's Magic Kingdom opportunity here. The Orlando Magic are 12-0 to the under. Home games versus teams they lost to in consecutive meetings. They're going under by 14 points a game. Cleveland is busting them boys up. Orlando says, if you keep busting us up and we're home, we're going to kick it to the under. We just talked about how they play under basketball at home. Thing is, this is where I like Orlando to some degree. It's hard to beat a team 3 straight times. But the Cavaliers are 47-10. So are they going to make that an 11 with the Orlando Magic? Highly doubtful. Highly doubtful. But I jumped in on this under. I mean, the fact that we got a 14-point margin of victory on these unders, to me, doesn't scare me that this number's moved. I got 220.5. There's still 219.5s out there. So you're still within the realm of feasibility with this thing. I mean, this number suggests this game maybe gets to 210. If it gets that low, Orlando, well, I don't know. Would 110-83 surprise anybody? Cleveland beats the shit out of them. I don't know. I'm going to take the under. I know that. I'm going to follow that Orlando trend, especially that they're at home and they're in that position when they're at home. That's not a fade of a team. That's a buy on a team situation. You know, we talked the other day last week about not wanting to fade teams in certain positions. I'm good with that. I'm comfortable with that position. Game number 2 I jumped in on. This is the big one. This is the 42-0. 42-0. It's hard to even say that out loud. Almost doesn't sound real. I looked at all the games. It's real. 61% of the bets and 61% of the cash have come in on the Pelicanos. Those Pelicanos. I like Zion to get over his points prop, by the way. If you're looking at the same game parlay or get some player prop juice in this one. It's gone from -1.5 to -3. Then we have 52% of the bets and 53% of the cash on the under. It's gone from 237.5 to 239.5. It's a little bit of a red flag. A little bit. Unders and we're seeing overs. You know, I was talking about the Zion piece, and the big thing for me, his number was 24.5 points. When he plays, and you got no Brandon Ingram on the court, he's the guy that has to go do it. And the fact that Wembanyama's out for the Spurs is the opportunity to play on this dude. He's covered the total 4 of his last 6 matchups. And it was including a shit game against the Spurs where he went 8 for 17 from the field. So if you believe in that bounce back philosophy, Zion's a guy that's live tonight. But look, bottom line, just short, sweet, and to the point. Regular season, next game rematch, more value than the previous time they played. Those teams are 42-0. 42-0 when the game has more value in it, bigger number than the previous time they went out there. And when you got an ugly team on the road, ugly team as defined by sub 500 in your winning record, and you're on the road, somehow those teams are 33-9. I suspect that has a lot to do with just overlooking the team. You just dismiss them and you move on from them. But I jumped in on the Spurs, man. I'm not going to buck a 42-0 trend. Give me some +3 action. Are you kidding? Probably live. The spot, though, the challenge I had with the live number, it's like +128. I mean, there wasn't I'd rather have the 3. Do I think they went out right? I don't know. It's going to be a tight game. You know, and because it's going to be a tight game, look, the last time they played, here's where the more value comes in on the opponent. They just played last game. They lost. So not only do we have the immediate bounce back revenge opportunity that's cashed 18 times for us, but we also have the fact that that first game was +2. Now it's +3. We're getting more value in the revenge opportunity, and it's 42-0. Crazy. Give me the Spurs. Give me the Spurs. No question about it. No question about it for me on the Spurs. I would have liked more points, but tis what it is. And last game on the docket. I added one for you guys here. It's going to be, I don't have a graphic for it, sorry. It's going to be in this Houston Rockets battle And like I said, I've got some more later plays. I'm just going to wait and see how we start this day off and how this number materializes for us as we get closer. It doesn't matter what I was going to do. This line's got 74% of the bets and 77% of the cash on the Bucks. It's gone from plus 3.5 to 2.5. So you check that box for the Bucks. You got correlated line movement. This total's gone from 227.5 down to 226. You have 76% of the bets and 72% of the cash on the over. Yeah, we talked about it. It's going to have to be Giannis and Dame night. I don't know if those boys care enough. They're 11-17. The Bucks on the road. You got against the spread. You got 13. I'm not going to give you guys. If it's not a spread number, I'll tell you it's a straight up number. Generally speaking, I mean, what are we talking about here? When the Bucks are in the dog roll straight up, they're 6-10. The Rockets are 27-11 when they're in the favorite role. Rockets coming off a loss. The Rockets kind of been. They were winning. They were nice on the road, and they went into the All-Star break and they got toasted by Golden State 105-98. They're just a small dog at home to Golden State. They came out of the All-Star gate. They busted up the Timberwolves. We talked about how bad the Timberwolves are, albeit though we made that money on them last night, so can't entirely dog them. 121-115. Then they go into Utah, who might have the shittiest home court advantage in the entire NBA despite having elevation. They get busted up as 8-point favorites. So you got a pissed off-minded Houston Rockets team. And despite the Giannis injuries and sitting out of the All-Star game and everything else that went into it, hey, they went into the All-Star break with a win against that apathetic Minnesota team. They came out. They hammered the Clippers, 116-110. They go into Washington. They snuck a win, didn't cover against Washington. And then they battled up on Miami. So in my estimation, as I look at those last two games, Houston's going to be a step up in class, and they're motivated. I don't like that Fred VanVleet's out of this game. And all the dogs should be rolling for the Bucks to some degree. Obviously, Portis. But look, this spot with this number just screams fade. Who are you going to fade? You're going to fade. We talked about this before. It's hard to get to 5. It's hard to get to 3, 5, 7, and then 10, right? When we get to 10, we want to start going the other way almost blindly. When you fade a team that's on a 4-game or bigger winning streak, you're 184-86. When you fade the hot team that's the road dog, this is where it's the suspect line. The 4+ winning streak hot team is a road dog. They're a road dog for a reason. They're 23-55 in those spots. Suggest playing on Houston. And then lastly, when you're playing a good team, this is where that step up in class comes into play that I referenced. The home team bounce back against a playoff team is 38-8. Dominating 38-8 in a bounce back spot. Last but not least, if you didn't need an extra little sprinkle on top of this thing here, the Rockets, when they're a -3 or 3.5 spot, they're 36-19 at the -3.5. 36-19 at that specific number in their coach's era. Kind of a weird number. I found that one. I'm like, well, all right. All signs to me point to the Rockets. I added it late. Keep that in mind as you look to play on this game. But I think we got a good opportunity here. I think we got some nice action in play via the NBA. Added that last leg. NBA recap. The Rockets -3.5 at -110. The Spurs +3 at -110. And then the Orlando Magic under 220.5 at -111 to bring us home. Put the bow on the show. Appreciate everybody rocking with us. Vila Coot says VanVleet out, but should still be a Rocket spot. I think so too. Look, those players are baked into these lines. And that's been the biggest thing. I was talking to my buddy today. I said, we talk about the intersection of art and science when it comes to trying to make these picks. And the trends are kind of the science. Then it's how you put those pieces together with your gut that makes it the art. And I said, my NBA numbers went up exponentially when I stopped caring about not stopped caring, but recognizing that those players are invested in the game. So that's the way we're going to shut up shop. Appreciate everybody that came out here tonight. Make sure you guys smack that like button on the way out the door. We got a lot of action in play tonight. We'll see. Keep your notifications on. Go follow at Sports Money Wins on Twitter. At Sports Money Wins. I'll put it in the chat. At Sports Money Wins. Look, I got a notification on Monday that we had the UFC show on Saturday from YouTube. We can't depend on YouTube to push it out. We love YouTube. Thank you so much, YouTube. We love you guys. But you got to go to X. Make sure you don't miss out when we put the plays out there on YouTube. YouTube is the vehicle that gets us to the window. But notification comes by way of X. So check us out at Sports Money Wins. Shout out to my guy, Redbeard, locking us down. Shout out my guy, blessing our action as we close up shop here. Redbeard with his second gifted membership tonight, my guy. Thank you, Redbeard. Appreciate you, Redbeard, my guy. 2 gifted memberships. I want to shout out Joe Dubb with the gifted membership. Mario Barrios with the gifted membership. Yeah, we are viewer supported, so we do appreciate you guys taking the opportunity to come by, smash that thumbs up button, and then help us build this community. We love that. Thank you guys all so much. Nook says, appreciate the show. Appreciate you, Nook. Nasty Nate with the clover leaves. Vito Coot says, Giannis will be a warrior in the future. Look at Sneaky Ninja, appreciate you. Appreciate all you guys, man. Have a great night tonight, and we will see you guys back here on behalf of the Sports Money crew. We got a lot of things out there to check out. My man, Subhuman Gaucho's got an EPL game for you guys tomorrow. He's got a video out there. We've got the first wave of our UFC action with VB MMA and Ramon. Did a nice job with the boys breaking down 3 UFC fights for this weekend's card. That's out there for you to check out. You're going to see a whole lot more coming down the pike. We appreciate you guys. Have yourselves a glorious evening. Get that money. And check out my man, Ramon Scott. Tomorrow morning, 9 a.m., the morning steam, Team Steam, the Chat All-Stars. The whole crew will be there looking for the consensus report. Appreciate all you guys. Have a great night. We will see you soon.